We're here in the Zocalo Plaza, Mexico City. Look at that big old flag. All the people's big open square. We were down here a couple of times on this trip. They were doing the Revolution Day holiday, and we came down here on Sunday. And then a couple of days before that, they were getting everything set up for that, and we came down here. So this is like the first day we've been down here where the square's open, and it's just normal. You can see the cathedral is there. We went in there today, but they were having mass. I did shoot a little bit of video in there. But what they're doing is they're working on some of the earthquake proofing for the seismic, sort of like what they were doing on the Mormon temple in Salt Lake City. But here they're not excavating down like they were doing in Salt Lake. So we're headed to get our COVID test. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022. We take off to Colombia in the morning and then on to Madrid tomorrow night. But I've been doing a lot of research on the Eurorail because, I've had this trip planned for a while. We bought our tickets back in June. Got a really good deal, and we really want to see as much of Europe as possible while we're there. And the Eurorail, to me, a layman, seems like a really good deal. We could buy, because we're going to be in Europe the full 90 days, so we could buy like a 3-month pass and just zip around Europe just continually. But today I started really drilling down into trying to figure out if that's what we wanted to do, because it's going to be $1,000 to get a 3-month pass. And if we go, and that's second class, but if we go first class, it'll be like $1,200. So I started doing a little bit of research and started off reading blogs and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it's just so hard to do Google searches and stuff now, because you just get all these TripAdvisor type websites and you can't really get any good information. So I kept looking, tried YouTube. Didn't find much on YouTube, but what I did start to come across was a lot of people complaining about how well the Eurorail Pass actually works. And it seemed to be like, because I was going to download their app on my phone, so I started reading the reviews, because the stars seemed a bit low. It seemed like 3-star review or something overall. So I went in and started reading all the reviews on their app, and it's a complete disaster from the reviews perspective. So I was like, oh man, that's going to be terrible. And then I started kind of trying to still think about how I could get it, and had myself convinced that I would just get a shorter duration, like 10 travel days and 2 months type deal, because we do have a big house sit over Christmas and New Year's for about 2.5 weeks, so we could learn. And so then I got onto the Facebook group, and I started looking at some of the information on the Facebook group, and again, it was the same thing, same as the reviews on the App Store, that people are unable to make reservations, that it's a waste of money, it stresses them out, there's no customer support whatsoever. And so I started drilling down into it. I started trying to interact with them through a messenger situation, and all it was a chat bot, and the chat bot couldn't even answer a lot of the questions I had. So basically what I've kind of come to the conclusion of is that the Eurorail Pass is a private thing separate from the Eurorail systems in Europe. And what they do is they have a limited number of seats that you can get. So say you buy we're trying to get through this intersection here. Say you buy a pass, say you get 10 travel days and 2 months, you pay $500 for it. Well, a lot of the countries, they all have their own individual train companies, and they force you on top of your Eurorail Pass to buy reservations. So then you're going to pay an extra fee on top of what you've already paid for your pass fee, like $8, $10, $30 a seat to make a reservation. And you have to make reservations in some countries like France, Spain. They open up reservations months and months and months in advance, and for like us, we don't know yet exactly where we're going until maybe sometimes just a few days before. We could buy the Eurail Pass and then totally not be able to use it because the number of reservations that Eurail Pass can have on any given train is very limited. So it doesn't even matter. There could be 500 seats on a train. There could be 300 open seats, but because Eurail only has, say, 10 seats slotted for their reservation system, if those 10 seats are already reserved, it doesn't matter if there's 300 open seats, you still can't make a reservation through their system. So you would have to buy separate tickets outside of your Eurail Pass, so it becomes completely unusable and increases your expenses. And then you can't contact Eurail for any kind of support because they won't tell you anything. And if you leave a message on Facebook or on their app store, they'll say, yeah, well, that's in our fine print, you know. So for what I've kind of gleaned, we are not going to buy the Eurail Pass. And I would just put this out there as a customer service, that if you're going to buy the Eurail Pass, to really do your due diligence, because I mean, it's disappointing to me to not be able to get one, because I thought that it would really help us, you know, be more budget friendly with our travel in Europe. But it looks like it's a big scam from what research I've been able to do, and we just can't afford to lose the money. And we're even going in the winter, and I don't have any confidence that the system would even be a benefit then, especially in Spain and France. But there's the tower Latin America. I can't walk backwards too far. I'll run over some poor little Mexican person and then they'll get mad at me. They got mad at me yesterday because I bumped into somebody on one of the colectivos. Anyway, all right. So I just wanted to talk about the Eurail. So one, it helps me make sense. I've been doing just, hardcore research about it today. Let's go this way, guys. We're gonna go down another little alley here, another walkway we haven't been down yet. But yeah, I'm extremely disappointed because it seems like a good deal, but it's too good to be true, and they're not resolving this issue. And the train companies are just letting them get away with it. And there's not any kind of standard that anyone's being held to. So what we'll do is when we arrive in Madrid, at that point, we will just make our accommodations. We'll just do everything as we go along, and just make the best of it and try to work our way through Western Europe as quickly as we can and get into Eastern Europe, where things will get a lot less expensive, and then finally get into the Middle East and Africa, which is where I really want to go anyway. Watch this FedEx guy walk. You gotta pay attention walking across these streets. So anyway, all right, that's my customer service message about the Eurail Pass. We really looked into it, and at this point we're not going to get it. Once I get to Spain and get to the train station, I'll talk to some people there. Maybe I can buy like a in the country pass or something, or maybe 2 or 3 country pass from the private railways versus using Eurail. That's what I'm going to try to do next, because we're not going to be in any of these countries long enough to spend a lot of money buying a German train ticket system or a Spanish train ticket system, because we're going to be moving from country to country to country. The longest time we're going to stay in any one country is going to be the Netherlands when we do our house sit, but we'll be staying at those people's house, taking care of their home for them. We won't be running all over the country. So anyway, all right, there we go. We are getting ready to leave Mexico City, and we've had a great week here. I think we've been here 8 days. And now it's time to head on to Colombia and then Spain. Where we go from here, I don't know. Have a great day. Let me know if you have a better way of dealing with the Eurorail Pass, because that's kind of like what I've come to.